Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? I am taking our load of potatoes that we just harvested from that small field. I'm taking them up to one of the dealerships that will give us the most money for them right now. Unfortunately, none of the dealerships are paying particularly well for potatoes at the moment. And this is just something that we're going to live with, and we're going to deliver this first load so that they can take a look at them. And one thing that I've sort of got in mind to do with this, you will see in a little while, because, you know, this is the game is it's a farming simulator. It's supposed to simulate all kinds of things from real life. And there is one aspect of real life that we very rarely actually simulate. So that's what we're going to be doing. Well, partly this week. We're going to sort of introduce a little bit of it this week. And I'm going to try to decide a random way to introduce this a bit more effectively into our Let's Play, just to add a little bit of interest and this extra aspect of realism, because that's what this series is all about. This series is all about realism. That's what we're after. Now, the first thing, we're selling these potatoes for a very low price, and unfortunately, we don't actually have the facility to store potatoes, so we've got no choice. If we're going to harvest potatoes, we're needing to sell them at a low price. It's just one of those things. It is actually quite realistic. You would actually have to do that in real life. So we are bringing our potatoes here to the freight yard, and we're selling them at 336 euros per ton. It's per 1,000 litres, but I always operate on a per ton basis, even though I know that it's not necessarily per ton. I say per ton just to sort of keep everything easy to follow, and there's no complications. So let's just tip these potatoes out here, and really, they should be tipping the other side. I thought that the trailer would default to tip on the correct side, but that's okay. So we've tipped our potatoes out, and we've had 2,700 euros. And then here is the here's the thing. Here's the clincher. The ultimate reality check is what we've got now. We've just been informed that our potatoes are not fit for human consumption. And this is something that does happen. You can harvest potatoes, and then you just get told not fit for human consumption. You could sell them for animal feed if you want. You get a fraction of the price. If you want to, you can do it. If not, that's up to you. My father actually harvested. He grew potatoes one year, and he harvested the whole lot, and they were good, top quality potatoes. They were wonderful potatoes. And we kept a whole load of them for ourselves, for our own consumption through the winter, and the rest of them, the person from whichever board it was, I don't know, they came along and they inspected them, and they said, nope, these are not fit for human consumption. And so then they get this little thing, and they stick it in each of the bags of potatoes, and they spray them with a dye, so that they can only be used and sold for animal consumption. He got a fraction of the price. He ended up losing money on those potatoes, and so that was... I'm on the wrong side of the road here. I'm travelling. Okay, let's just pretend that bit didn't happen. So, yeah, it does happen. We've now been sort of basically told that our potatoes are next to worthless because they're animal consumption only. We don't have any animals that will consume them ourselves, so we've got to make the decision. Do we just forget the potatoes, plough them back in? I know many a farmer that has ploughed his potatoes back in because he can't get the price that he wants for them. And so that's what we're going to do. That is the kind of the sad end of our potatoes here. We've got this little field here that we got that we could harvest, and that's going to be the end of it. So our potatoes have come to an untimely end. They are going to stay right here with this field. They're going to be ploughed back in, and that is the end of potatoes, because quite frankly, it is not worth our time and expense to pick them up off the floor and trundle them up the road to the dealership. So that's what's happening with those. So that's that will explain why I'm about to dump these potatoes here on the floor, and then we're going to forget about them, and that's going to be the end of all potatoing. The other potatoes, because we bought the fields just recently, what's actually going to happen is... Hang on, I don't want to do that. I want to do that and dump these potatoes right here, because these are also going to be ploughed back in or cultivated. It's the end of it. It's no more potatoes. We're not having anything more to do with these potatoes. They're done. Okay, done, done, and done. Right. So, yeah, our worthless potatoes here aside, we're going to all the other crops that we've done. We've finished doing the canola, and that is a few of these fields here. That's now finished. If we have a look at growth, see they're harvested. Now, we've got several other fields that are actually ready to harvest. Some of them are not quite ready to harvest. Because we've only just bought these fields, they're actually going to be harvested by the people we bought them from. That was part of the contract. When we bought them, they would harvest. They would finish the harvest on them, and then we have the fields from the winter onwards. So that's that bit dealt with. We can return the potato equipment. I will get rid of the voucher and, well, not actually the trailer. No, I'm going to keep the trailer. We're just going to get rid of this one here. This one can be returned. So, oh, hang on. I'm going to need to lower that one down, aren't I, before it will let me unhitch it. So then we can do that and that. There we go. And I'll move this one out the way, and then return that one, move it here, and for sell. There we go. Right, so that's the potatoes done, and we've then got our tractors that we want to buy. Now, I asked you last week which tractor would you like me to buy, and I had quite a lot of votes. We had 2,574 people vote on this particular question. Now, the result actually surprised me. I said you could have the Case Magnum right there, the Valtra S Series, the New Holland T8, the Deutz Series 9, or the JCB Fast Track 8000. And on day one, the New Holland T8 was the clear leader. Far more people wanted that one than any other. Almost half people voted for that one. However, on day two, it quickly changed around, and almost half the people voted for this one. And then on day three, where are we for day three? About a third of the people voted for the Case. So ultimately, what we ended up with, of 2,574 votes, we had 279 votes for the Valtra. Then it was 306 votes for the Deutz Series 9. Then 382 votes for the Fast Track 8000. The New Holland T8, that one has ended up with 694 votes. And the winner is 913 votes, which is the Case Magnum. Now, several people said that they'd like to see it with tracks. Several people said that they'd like to see it with tyres. I actually had about the same both ways for this one, crawler tracks and tyres. So this once I'm going to see. I'm torn, actually. I'm genuinely torn. I was thinking that this once we would. I'd prefer to actually use wide tyres, because I do prefer that myself. So what I'm going to do is this once I'm going to use the wide tyres, but we will take this Case. It won't actually be this one, but we will use this Case again when we get to South America, and I will give you a vote for South America as to whether or not we use tracks or we use tyres. Because it seemed quite evenly split in the comments, I'll actually put that one to a vote. It'll probably be a vote before we even get there as to whether the one we use in South America has the tracks that you can see there, or if we use standard wide tyres. So we can use wheel weights, standard, crawler track, narrows, or wide tyres. Now, wide tyres are actually, in my experience, one of the best. I think crawler tracks are also very, very good for distributing weight evenly over the surface, and so reducing compaction. And compaction with big machines like this, that is a very, very major problem. It's like the biggest concern with big machinery is compaction on the soil. Wide tyres help to combat that. So that's what we're going to go for. We're going to go for wide tyres there. Engine setup, I said that I would go for the biggest engine setup that we can get. So it's 435 horsepower. So we're going to buy that one at 346,800 euros. So get that one and back. And I said that I would take the second vote as well, which was the New Holland T8. So tyres, again, we can go crawler tracks on that one as well. We're not going to. I actually used T8s and crawler tracks as my standard setup for a number of, or at least my main tractor in my first ever time-lapse series, which was Bjornholm. We did have I think it was a T8. I'm sure it was a T8. But anyway, the New Holland, whatever it was we were using, it had a crawler track. But anyway, we're going for wide tyres again, and the biggest engine we can have on this one is 435 horsepower. That's 321,300 euros. So let's just get that one a minute. Hang on. 321,300, and it's a 435 horsepower engine. Then if we go to this one, that setup there is a 435 horsepower engine with the wide tyres, 34,600. It's actually cheaper to get the T8 with the wide tyres, the same size engine. It's cheaper by, what's that, 40 grand? That's 321. And then this one here was, what was it? I've forgotten again. I'm absolutely terrible with this. It's like 25,000 more expensive to buy that tractor, when in actual fact, both of these tractors are exactly the same horsepower. Exactly the same horsepower. This one's a bit wider on the front, and this one sort of seems... I actually prefer, personally, I prefer the proportions of the T8. I think it just looks more pleasing to the eye. I've never been a fan of the Case Magnum, the way that it gets really wide at the front. It's never been something that's appealed to me personally. But both of those tractors are actually identical in power. Whether their performance would be identical, I'm not quite sure. So we're going to we're not going to drive those just yet. We're going to leave them right there. Although I have now hopped into it. So let's just take a quick look at the cab. There we go, looking beautiful. Excellent. And we go to the next one and we'll take a quick look in. That's another thing that I really hate about the Case in this game. I think it's actually true for real life as well. It's the red seats. I absolutely hate the red seats. They're so off-putting there. So yeah, as you can tell, I'm not a huge fan of the Case, but that being said, it's still a good tractor. I'm still quite willing to believe that it's a good tractor. I have used Case in real life. Nothing that big. The Case that I used would have been around the 130 horsepower range. And I used it for some little bit of ploughing, some cultivating, spraying, but only kind of a small scale, nothing major. So bring that one over there and stop that one. I've got another thing that we've got to do back at the yard, which I'm going to show you in a minute. We're just going to get rid of this one, as we've done the little bit that we said that we would do with the Valtra. It's done. Let's just switch that one off. There we go. And I want to sell. Right. So we want to get that tractor there back to the yard. And basically what we want to do now is we want to push on through until winter. Now I was saying that I wanted to try to start joining some of the fields together. I'm actually thinking that we will do that on the very first day of spring, because the ground will have warmed up enough then that we can start doing it. So that's the plan, is we're going to start doing that in spring, which means that between now and spring we kind of want to get moving. What we are going to be doing, I need to turn my lights on. One thing that we will be doing is we'll be cutting down a whole load of trees. We've got a lot of trees that we need to cut, and to power the wood chipper that we're going to be using alongside that, we will be using one of those big tractors. Probably I will use the New Holland first. And then we'll put the Case on some other things, because it's going to be a front-mounted machine, and I think the Case would actually be better suited to using a front-mounted machine. Not the Case, the New Holland. The New Holland would be better suited to a front-mounted machine because the Case is so much wider, you've got less visibility of what's in front of you. So for that reason, I'd like to use the New Holland to use the front-mounted Brux wood chipper that I talked to you about, and that's the one that we're going to be using. I'm not going to be selling any logs as whole logs. I don't have any plans to do that. I'm planning to chip everything up, and we'll sell it as wood chips. And there you can see the next item that I have already got installed and ready and done. Just going to stop that one right there. I've decided that we need to up our game a bit with our cows, because it's taking so long to fill up that little tiny feeder, move it over and empty it and so on. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this placeable feeder that I've got right here. So in order to do that, I've cut down these trees and moved them. Now, one thing with seasons, I have stripped this one here bare, just because I wanted to get it out of the way a little bit, and I didn't want all the green leaves sort of hanging over. One thing with seasons, when you cut down a tree, it goes to its default foliage texture. It doesn't have the different colored one. So you may have noticed in the time lapse that even if you just trim one branch off a tree, exit the game, come back in, you will then find that the whole tree has gone to the default texture on the leaves. There's nothing that they can do about it. It's a minor thing, and at the moment there are no immediate plans to alter that and fix it. So we're just going to ignore the fact that we've got green trees there at the moment, and we will be dealing with that later on, just not quite yet. So today we're going to we do need to get a little bit of food in for the cows. If we take a look, I'll show you up through here. The cows are about halfway, so we want to start getting a little bit of food in for the cows. What I was going to do was I was going to use this grab and use the telehandler and hopefully start dumping some stuff into that feeder back there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, if I can, I'm going to just move these over a little bit. And so today we want to get go forward until winter, because on the very first day of winter, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to change the timescale from 12 days per season that it is at the moment down to 6 days per season. I think that's going to be a lot better for us and for how we've ended up playing this game. So that will sort of speed things along a little bit. So this autumn is going to be the last one that we're doing at 12 days per season. And in future, if we do come back to using the seasons model, we probably will. We'll remember this, and next time we will put it down to a shorter amount per season than we currently have. Maybe we'll try the 3, but probably we'll go for 6. That does seem to be... it just seems to sort of work out a little bit better, I think, running 6. So we want grass and hay is up at this end. And you've only just got to bring the bales up close to it. You don't have to tip them right in, which does make it nice and easy. Thought I seen something sort of jumping out the back then. I'm hoping I didn't. No. I thought, yeah, I could have sworn I seen something a little bit weird just happen then. You can put 55,000 in 55,000 litres of hay and silage into that thing, and then you can put I can't remember exactly, I think with straw, I think it's, and yeah, I know you wouldn't normally pick the bales up like this, but this is just kind of for expediency's sake. We want to hurry up and get this done. I'd like to try to get through the rest of autumn today if we can, because we don't have any major jobs planned. We don't have anything else planned to do now. Everything is literally going to be about getting through until winter. Then we can start thinking about actually sort of dealing with the rest of things that need to be dealt with. So if I just come over here, is there a control panel? We've got, yes, you've got a control panel here. This one's not actually showing up as lit, but the reason that was not actually lit at the moment is because you've got silo setting manual start, activate automatic filling. So if I activate that, silage empty at the moment. So it will now do it automatically. Output, so we've got input 30% straw and 21% grass or dry grass. I don't know if it still takes grass. And then obviously silage. So we need to tip silage in now. And I don't know if you can just spoon silage in a grab full. I mean, I was actually thinking that we could use a trailer and tip the silage into a trailer. I also don't know if we can open it from this end. I have previously tried to open a clamp from both ends and ran into trouble with it. So we will just take a look. I don't know if you remember, actually. It was back in my very first Let's Play in FS17. In Goldcrest Valley, we made some silage at the biogas plant, and it went all a little bit wrong with the silo, with the clamp, because it left a stripe like that in the middle, and then we couldn't get rid of it, and it was behaving in a very, very peculiar fashion, and we could never quite figure out why it was doing it. Now, what happens here? If it was silage bales, it would just grab it and take it and tip it in. Now, if we open this up, can we just tip it in? Yes, we can just tip it in. And you can see it's already started working. Now, we're running at 120 times speed on the map now. So it is going to use it up pretty quickly. So I'm going to slow that down to 30 times speed just for a minute so we can put a little bit extra in. I'm wondering what would be the fastest way to move silage from here over to that mixed feeder. And probably doing it like this isn't the fastest way. I did actually consider putting the mixed feeder closer over here. But ultimately, it's a more level area where I did put it. And that seemed to be like the best option, to put it on the most level piece of ground that I could find. So the output on this one is 150,000 litres. And the inputs are equivalent to 150,000 litres. But what I think you can do is I think you can actually fill it right up with... you can get 150,000 litres of mixed feed in there ready and waiting. Now, if you see here, it's got all of the screens and everything. Capacity 55 for silage, 40 for straw, 55 for grass. Forage 150,000. So it's giving you percentages there. And if you look over there, it's got all the numbers and everything. I think what you can do is that you can actually fill a full 150,000 litres of total mixed ration and have all of the inputs full as well. Which means then all you've got to do is park a trailer underneath it and dump the stuff into the trailer and then trailer it round and tip it straight into the cows. And it should be nice, simple, quick, effective and fast. And that's kind of what we're hoping for here. So let's keep going with this one. I was considering getting a wheel loader over here to sort of assist with things, but I decided against that because we are now using a wheel loader in our time-lapse series, and I don't want to do everything with wheel loaders. I like the wheel loaders, don't get me wrong, I think they're fantastic machines, but at the same time I also want to make sure that we do have some variety going on with our various different tasks. And so kind of what we want is we need to get that one filled up as much as possible, and then once it's been filled up, then kind of the cows should be fairly easy to deal with for the rest of the autumn at least, and maybe on into the winter. I was considering buying a few more cows, but I'm thinking that we probably won't now. We'll probably stick with the 160 that we've got, as we're, or else, you know, we do run into the serious issue of possibly not having actually enough time to get everything done that we want done. Because remember, we're now working in, mostly it's to do with private business, it's private corporations who are funding us. They're funding us, setting up this farm as kind of an educational tool, and for exchange between us and Argentina. The Argentinian government and the Polish government are also in on it, but they're not providing a large amount of money. They're kind of approving the passports and the visas and everything like that, because it's a you know, this kind of scheme thing. So we need to make sure that we've got everything running smoothly and going well before we leave, and then we will move off to South America and we will help our old school friend with his farm down there. So my question for this week is about what we do when we get to South America. Now, obviously, we're going to be doing sugarcane. Sugarcane's a big thing. But the reason that we are going to South America is not for sugarcane. We're going to go and learn about the sugarcane. But obviously, sugarcane is not something that you would grow in Poland. And because you wouldn't grow it in Poland, it doesn't really matter if we learn about sugarcane or not. It's not going to have any benefit to Poland as a country. So the reason that we're going is we're going to sort of impart knowledge about cattle. We've got our various techniques of dealing with cattle, and the idea is that they are also going to learn about different ways of looking after cattle, and we will learn from them as well. So mostly it's about the cattle, but it is also about the crops, because, you know, there are different ways. Farming sugarcane is farming sugarcane. But there are things that we could learn from learning about farming sugarcane that we could possibly bring back here. Different techniques that might be applicable to other plants, other crops, and things like that. So when we get to Argentina, what do you want to... what should we do? Now, I'm thinking that we should do some cows. I'm thinking that we should start off with a herd of about 100 cows there. But I don't know. I mean, I was thinking cows, but we have dealt with pigs in the past, haven't we? We've done stuff with pigs. We did a little bit with pigs in Sosniowka, and we've done pigs on the time-lapse map on Goldcrest Valley. So I'm wondering if perhaps we should go back to pigs. We won't be using the Seasons mod in Argentina. We will be using the standard, just the standard game. So Seasons is really good. I love Seasons, but it's not something that I want to use on every single playthrough, because it's a very different gameplay style when using Seasons compared to using standard, just a standard game. And I don't want to just be exclusively all about Seasons. So and also the fact that, you know, there's probably not any Geo mod, you know, the one that's got the correct seasons and everything applied. There's nothing set up for Argentina yet, so and for sugarcane and stuff like that. So yeah, we're going to go for standard gameplay on this one. I've actually run out of time already, and all I've been doing is like just traveling back and forth, spooning stuff into that one. Oh well. Right, and we'll bring that there. So, yes, we are almost to the end of the first day, and we haven't... Well, we're almost at the end of day 5. We're almost at the end of this episode, and I was planning to, like, try to finish autumn today. It doesn't seem to have worked. It takes quite a while to get this thing loaded up. That's the big thing here, is it does take quite a long time to get this loaded and keep it full. So, we are doing quite a bit of back and forth. Maybe like a self-loading something to get the silage in and then move the silage faster would be the answer. But I actually think that possibly a wheel loader that can move stuff faster than what we can do at the moment might actually be more beneficial to us than anything else. But we'll go with what we got for a minute. I could probably do this so that I could take more bales of straw all at once. If I put them end on, I could take 4 bales of hay, and actually I'd probably balance 6 of them. But that, I mean, that would be like really super unrealistic. I could probably balance 6 bales and drag them around. So let's just take these and drop those in there. So there is our mixed feeding station, and I'm going to go through our machines here a minute to get to that one. Start you up. And we're going to go and get a load of mixed feed, and we're going to tip it in for the cows. There should be enough there now. They've got base food is at 23%. Straw is also low, but straw is, I mean, they do use a bit of straw now, but it's not too much of a worry. The biggest use of straw is obviously in the winter. They go through masses of straw in the winter. And there's a little green light there to show you where it unloads to. So we can start unloading it into here. There is our mixed feeder working in all its glory. And that is absolutely fantastic. I'm really pleased with that. I like the trailer. I like how it's all coming off. Generally speaking, this mod is really good. I realise that it is a little bit big for a farm of this size, but overall, I don't think it's too excessive. I think maybe it's a little bit big, but generally I think it's okay. But anyway, I was in the middle of asking you my question, and I've run out of time, and I haven't done it once yet. I'm supposed to do it at the beginning of the episode and end of the episode, and I never actually do that on the first episode of the week. I didn't mean to ram into the fence there. That was an accident. So, yes, what animal would you like me to start with when we get to South America? Do you want me to just transfer the cows that we've got here, or do you want me to do pigs instead? I'm not offering sheep. I'm specifically, quite deliberately, not offering sheep, because I find sheep to be a little bit dull. There's not a lot that we can do with them, so maybe we will get to doing some sheep a bit later on. But we did say that we were going to do pigs on this map, and we've never actually done it. So, because of the whole thing with seasons and how they are not profitable whilst running seasons. So, yeah, we will start with the same number of cows that we got here, 160 cows. Did I say 100 cows? But anyway, we'll start with 160 cows, the same number that we got here. Or we will go for pigs, and for pigs, we'll go for 300 pigs. So do you want me to start with 160 cows and concentrate on cattle on our next map, the same as this one? Or would you prefer me to go for 300 pigs, and we will sort of focus most of our efforts around farming pigs on the next map? And obviously the sugarcane. The sugarcane is going to be a big part of it, but there will be we still need to concentrate on the other crops. And if we've got pigs, we're going to try complete self-sufficiency with pigs on that map. We will try our absolute best to make sure that we don't have to buy in any extra feed. We would like to be able to start. I'm going to be buying some extra fields when we start to sort of represent an established farm, and I'm going to start it off with some machinery. I will probably put some of those machines to a vote so that you can have a say on them. But at the moment, we'll start off with what animals do you want. So it's 160 cows, the same as we have here, or 300 pigs. It's your vote. It's your game. Head in the comment section down below. Let us know which one you want and why. And of course, don't forget to actually cast your vote in the top right-hand corner. Which do you want when we start our new map in South America as soon as the new DLC is released? Cows or pigs? Right, that is... Wow. I did not expect that much of that trailer full. Is that all going to go in? Every single drop has just gone in now. I did not expect that. I honestly did not think it would all fit. Right, so we got about half full of straw, so we could put a couple of bales of straw in there, and that's the cows taken care of. And then I think we could actually just do lots of fast forwarding. So I'm just going to pull over here a minute and stop that one. Turn those lights off. We'll come over to this one, and silage is currently empty on there. We want a couple of bales of straw. I don't want too much, just 2 bales, and I will drop those straight in for the cows, and we can clean them up a bit as well. So if I just grab those 2 there, like that, and we'll run these up, and then that will be all I've got time for today. So it looks like we will continue this on tomorrow. I don't want to do too much of this behind the scenes, because I've had people telling me that I should be stacking stuff by hand on screen, and I should be doing lots of this stuff on screen, and a lot of people are saying that I shouldn't, because quite frankly it's boring to watch. So I'd like to do some of this on screen so you can get an idea of just how much work is involved if I do everything on screen. And lift that one up like that. There we go. 2 bales of straw gone in. So yeah, kind of just to give you an idea of the work that's involved with running this on so many days. Having the seasons mod running on 12 days per season. It's not the best way forward, I've found, at the moment. It really doesn't work very well. I mean, don't get me wrong, the seasons thing works. The seasons is absolutely beautiful. It's a wonderful, wonderful mod. It's just an absolute pain when you try doing it on this many days. It's absolutely not working out very well for us. It's taking too long. I had predictions when we started that it would take probably most of the series to do 1 year, and that's not been far wrong. So yeah, we did definitely make a mistake running seasons on this many hours, on this many days. Right, let me just stop there, and we will fast forward our first night. And I'm not actually I know that you do like me to go over to the house to fast forward the night. I'm not going to do that this time. I'm just going to stick right there. And right, let's carry on. How are we doing with cows? So what have we got? Silage and hay. Everything is actually okay on there. And the cleanliness, we do need to clean them up a little bit in a minute. We'll do that. Sold milk, 9,000 euros. Now, I know that we've got nearly 6 million euros here, and we're not going to have that kind of spare cash once we get to Argentina. Don't look at it as a retirement fund. A lot of people have said, oh, if I had that much money, I'd just retire. I wouldn't bother with the farming. Yes, I completely understand that. This is not actually our money, though, is it? It's not our retirement fund. So, because it's not actually our own money, we've got a kitty that we're allowed to delve into in order to expand our machinery and stuff. But beyond that, it's, yeah, we don't actually have all that money. That money's not ours, and we don't get to use it. Oops. Okay, I don't want to tip that down there. I want to tip it in there. But anyway, if you've enjoyed this episode, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. But until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.